What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed with everything that the government does. Now, I'm supposed to be going on vacation. I don't have a whole hell of a lot of time. I'm trying to get a couple videos recorded before I leave to go to Florida on my vacation. I will try to make some videos while I'm on vacation, but the uploads could be a little bit splotchy. So I'm going to try to get into something. I found this interesting article. I just wanted to bring to light, if you will, to show everybody what's going on. And it just kind of proves my point that the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, if you will, is in panic mode, and they are looking for anything and everything they can do to try to sway the American public. However, we just had a report. Our GDP growth is down from 1.6% to 1.3%. That doesn't bode well for the country. Our economy is tanking right now. People are waking up and seeing that. The past 3 years have been insane. You've got all these viral TikToks of people just crying, literally crying, saying, I can't afford groceries. I can't afford my rent. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. The new generations can't afford to buy houses. That is halting the American dream. That is the result of the Biden administration's policies. They're just dumping money in all these climate change and paying off student loan debt and dumping money here and dumping money into foreign wars, putting us into danger, giving us the possibility of World War III. Why? Why? So they can save democracy? Huh? They're not saving democracy. Ukraine is not a democracy. But that doesn't prevent them from dumping billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, in fact, into a war that should not have been started in the first place. I guess they don't realize the damage they're doing to this nation by going after their political rivals, shutting voices down on social media. I love stressing this point because Joe Biden's administration absolutely had backdoor access to social media platforms where they were shutting down conservative voices. That is an egregious violation of the First Amendment, but you can't get anybody on the left to admit he was even doing that, even though we have proof. We have the Supreme Court cases to prove it. Yeah, cases, multiple cases. And as a matter of fact, the Biden administration fought tooth and nail to continue to do that. Why? Oh, we're fighting misinformation. No. They were shutting down opinions on social media. They weren't fighting misinformation. They were trying to oppose the opposition from talking. They were trying to stop them from speaking their mind. That's exactly what they were doing. And we have, like I said, the Supreme Court cases to prove that. But you can't get the people to listen. You can't get the other side to listen. And what I say that, some people are finally waking up, and the polls are proving it. Check this out. Trump, GOP are earning favorites for White House, Congress. Interesting. Former President Trump and the GOP are the favorites to win the races for the White House and for both chambers of Congress a little more than 5 months before Election Day, according to a forecast model released Wednesday by Decision Desk HQ and The Hill. That's something that we don't talk about a whole hell of a lot. The House maintaining their control, it's a slim majority, but they still have a majority, and flipping the Senate, which, by God, I hope they do. The model gives Trump a 58% chance of winning the presidency and shows him with slight leads in most of the key swing states in the presidential race. Republicans are a more comfortable favorite in the House and Senate, the model says. The GOP holds an 80% chance of winning the Senate majority and a 64% chance of holding its House majority. An 80% chance. I don't think any amount of polling or any amount of campaigning can overcome that. This is just a forecast model, though, but that's something I haven't looked into at all. Republicans winning back the Senate. An 80% chance. That's insane. The model is based on the framework that Decision Desk HQ used for past elections in 2020 and 2022, but with some changes. Decision Desk HQ points to about 200 different data points that are factored in to reach the probabilities, including voter registration numbers for each party, demographics, past election results, fundraising totals, and polling averages. Scott Tranter, the director of data science for Decision Desk HQ, emphasized that the data and projections represent a snapshot in time that could change between now and election day. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to change that much. I think this is the Biden administration should absolutely be panicking over this. This is likely taking a test that doesn't count. It's like getting a grade in school that doesn't count, he said. No one's voting today. No one's picking a president or picking a senator. If they did pick them today, this is probably how I'd hand it out. Yeah, that's damning, because I don't believe this is going to change very much. As a matter of fact, as more information comes out about exactly how the Biden administration has been operating its administration for the past 3.5 years, I think we're going to see a lot of people say, this is not good. This guy's way too old. He can't make a good speech, for God's sakes. He is too old for the position. Why are they putting this man through this stressful ass job? Why? To beat Donald Trump? You look at the differences between the two, and the differences are vast. People try to say, oh, Trump's in mental decline. Yeah, sure. He's 77 years old. He's declining, of course, but it's really hard to tell. But you look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden can't barely get off a stage, for goodness sakes. He shakes hands with ghosts. But that doesn't stop the Democrats and the left from trying to equate the two. But anybody with a rational brain looking at it objectively can tell that there is a vast difference between the two. Look at the House forecast. 62% Republican, 38% Democrat. But the projections may amplify the already high anxiety felt within the Democratic Party over where it stands as spring turns to summer. Polls have consistently found President Biden trailing Trump in swing states, and the conflict in Gaza has amplified the Democrats' problems with young and minority voters, two key parts of the coalition that helped him win election in 2020. Polls are also showing voters are unhappy with the economy and Biden's handling of economic issues. Yes, that is a very good point, because, once again, Joe Biden is out here saying this.
We have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%. But look, people have a right to be concerned. I think inflation has gone slightly up. It was at 9% when I came in, and it's now down around 3%.
While we know inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden took office, and it was 10 months before it got to 9%. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, that's because of COVID. Yeah, it's because the Democrat governors shut their economies down. A lot of Republicans did too, as a matter of fact, which was stupid. But the point to that is the Biden administration did absolutely nothing to try to stop inflation from rising like that. They were simply reactionary. They didn't start cutting the interest rates until after inflation got to like 6 or 7%. They did absolutely nothing to try to stave off this recession that we're in. They did nothing whatsoever. And then Biden's going to get out there and tell you the Bidenomics is working? Yeah, Bidenomics is failing. We've had a couple of years since that, and the economy is still doing pretty bad, if you will. Our GDP just dropped down from 1.6% to 1.3%, which doesn't look good for the economy. There's viral TikToks all over the place of people crying, I can't afford to buy food. That doesn't look good for Joe Biden. Trump is facing a number of legal issues, and a jury could deliver a verdict as early as this week in his New York criminal trial. Yet the cases have not prevented Trump from holding a lead in polls over Biden, but nationally, both nationally and in swing states. Yes, because most people can see that this is absolute BS. When you have CNN saying stuff like this,
Michael's getting at is the burden of proof is an important one to remind everyone. It's on the prosecution, right? They need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Donald Trump broke the law. And you think, after listening to all of this, you think they fell short? How?
They fell way short, because let's start with reasonable doubt. What is reasonable doubt? And it's not simply a doubt based upon reason. Anytime a human being needs to make an important decision in life, if you have enough information, for example, doctor says you need open heart surgery. Doc, go ahead and schedule. I don't have a reasonable doubt. Conversely, if I say, I appreciate it, but I need a second opinion, I need more information, that is having a reasonable doubt. There is reasonable doubt all over this case. Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this. Thought he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. That doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. Stormy Daniels, let's hold a pity party for her. Why do we need to know whether or not the former president wore a condom or not? It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries for legal fees? Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family? It's everywhere.
When Randy gets to whisper tones, I start getting concerned.
People can logically deduct this is all just a political show trial, because the Biden administration, in their infinite wisdom, has chose to hold on to these indictments and wait until campaign season to do it. Why? And then they're begging these people, please put him in jail before November. Yeah, that makes it look even worse. Joe Biden has turned our country into a banana republic with these kangaroo court BS. And everybody can see it, except for the deranged people on the left, who are like, yeah, Trump's guilty. Guilty of what? Of hiring Michael Cohen to steal money from him and falsify business records? To cover up something that's not a crime. Yeah, like as if people are going to buy into that. Some people have, but like I said, once again, that's deranged people on the left. In the battle for the Senate, Democrats are dealing with a difficult map that has them defending seats in two states, Montana and Ohio, where Trump is the heavy favorite in the presidential race. Without victories in both of those states, Democrats will almost certainly lose the Senate. Democrats have been hopeful about winning back the House majority, but the forecast from Decision Desk HQ, The Hill, shows they are an underdog in that race as well. Decision Desk HQ and The Hill's forecast model shows the probabilities of each presidential candidate winning in each state, taking into account the polling average that they have been tracking for months, along with various other factors. Tronter said the organization then takes an ensemble approach in which various algorithms consider the data, and those results are averaged out to create the probabilities seen in the maps. Decision Desk HQ looks at how predictive different variables have been in past elections to determine which to weigh more heavily in reaching the probabilities for this year. Trump leads Biden in Decision Desk HQ, The Hill's polling average in each of the 6 battleground states that will likely decide the election, though the blue wall states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania are razor tight and within 2 points. If Biden holds all 3 of those states, he could afford to lose the swing states of North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada and still win the election. Biden's low approval ratings have sparked concerns among Democrats that he could not only lose the White House, but be a drag on other candidates. Some Senate Democrats running in tough re-election fights this year have distanced themselves from Biden, and for very good reason. Biden is damaging our economy, and people are waking up and seeing it. The Biden campaign and allies have said Election Day is still too far away to be concerned with polls, as many voters are still not paying close attention to the race. Copium. Democrat strategist Antoine Seawright said one of Biden's strengths is he has experience, and that he and the campaign veterans around him have learned not to panic when everybody else is panicking. He pointed to the 2022 midterm elections, in which many commentators predicted a red wave in congressional elections that did not materialize. Yeah, but we still won the House. That's what these people aren't realizing. Sure, it wasn't a massive red wave, but we still got House majority. And not to mention, that was before all of the really bad stuff about Biden administration. That was before we learned of the Biden administration going after conservatives on social media. That was before we learned of all of the Hunter Biden laptop story BS. Yeah, we've learned a lot about that. A lot about the influence peddling of the Biden administration. Or I should say, the influence peddling of Hunter Biden. Right? Now, I'm willing to admit that Joe Biden may not have known that Hunter Biden and James Biden were all peddling their influence for Joe Biden. Sure. Joe Biden may be absolved of those crimes. However, it still looks really bad. It looks really bad on Biden. GOP strategist Ron Bonjon said the trend is moving in Trump's direction, and the legal battles Trump is facing have not hurt him. And he's right about that. Having said that, the election is still months away, and the one person that can get in Trump's way is himself, he said. And he's right. I think Trump needs to chill out. However, that doesn't stop the corporate press from lying about Trump. We've already had several hoaxes this year. The bloodbath hoax. The abortion ban hoax. Yeah, the Biden administration is continually getting out there saying you're going to lose your right to choose if Trump gets elected. Yeah, well, the facts don't really back that up. So, matter of fact, he allowed for Roe versus Wade to be overturned so that the states that don't want to allow abortion can ban it outright, and so that the states that do allow abortion can have their stinking abortions. To me, that's how it should be. Because you satisfy everybody, for goodness sakes. And they call Trump an authoritarian for giving us more freedoms, for goodness sakes. Right? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. They call Trump a dictator. Would a dictator allow something that he finds to be morally bankrupt?
The first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
Now, I don't think so. However, Joe Biden would love nothing more than to codify Roe versus Wade. That would be forcing the entirety of the country to allow for abortion when a vast majority of the country think abortion is murder. I wonder who's the authoritarian here. In a good sign for Democrats, many of their down-ballot candidates are running ahead of Biden. The Decision Desk HQ, the Hill model, found that Democratic Senate candidates have a higher chance to prevail in all but one of the Senate battlegrounds, Montana, where John Tester faces a difficult battle. This would be great if we could win back the Senate, win back the White House, and keep our majority in the House. That would allow for us to at least try to balance the budget. Although I'm not putting much faith in Republicans nor Democrats to be able to do that. Because if they would have absolutely shot down Biden's $1.7 trillion deficit budget. Yeah, that was just insane. I railed on that for months because how the hell can you be fiscally responsible, or a conservative for that matter, and agree with $1.7 trillion deficit spending when our national debt is $34 trillion? These people are insane. And I stress this all the time. Go to congress.gov, look up your congressman, check out their voting record. You will be appalled at just exactly who they're voting for and what they're voting for and what they're voting in the interest of. It's not the American people, because if it was the American people, they would vote against spending in a deficit outright, no matter what that deficit was. But we can't get the House to agree on anything. Congress is shaping up to be the least productive Congress because they can't agree on nothing. We've essentially have three parties in Congress right now. We have the House Freedom Caucus, then we have the Rhinos, And then we have Democrats. And it's all just a bunch of BS. But this report, this forecast model, looks really good for Republicans. And I really hope that we can get some fresh blood in Congress because, like I always say, Congress is the most powerful institution in our country. And they have the ability to change anything and everything that they want to. They just don't wield that power because they can't agree on anything at all. Nothing whatsoever. They just capitulate to the Biden administration and say, oh yeah, sure, we'll just spend in a deficit. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. I think you guys get the point. Hopefully I'm not going to miss my flight. So let me go ahead and end it right here. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one, you guys. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. And stay legitical. Peace.